can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Listen, I don't usually suggest this, but, inject this into your arm. What is it? It's a tranquilizer. It's just going to calm you down for a bit. That way you can do the review. Okay. I don't feel so good. Woohoo! Let's do a review. Hello and welcome to the Literary Lair, and to the 50th episode! Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I hope to have many more episodes. Let's try to get to 100. Anyway, I don't know what I want to do for this milestone. I was debating doing an episode on Edgar Allan Poe, but it somehow didn't seem special enough to denote the 50th episode of my show. Therefore, I'm gonna look to the future, and also take a look back at the show's 49 episodes before this. And I don't care if it's a cop-out or not, this is my personal top 10 episodes of the Literary Lair as of this video. I'm sure I'll make more that'll trump some of these in the future, but for right now, these are my favorites. Let's get right to it. Number 10. Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion. Number 10. This one, I admit, is a given to the list. It's by no means my best. In fact, it's probably one of my worst, but it's gotta be on the list. Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, why is it on the list? It was my first episode, and it's the one that started this madness. It has to be on the list. When I made it back in March of 2012, I had no idea that I'd get to 50 episodes. Usually stuff like this I get bored of after a few months. Not this. So, thank you, Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion, because without you, there'd be no Literary Lair. Number 9. My original The Fault in Our Stars review. This one is another of my early favorites. My original Fault in Our Stars review. Why do I like it? Mainly because it was my first serious review. I was totally not jokey at all during that one. In fact, it's the only review I've ever made the day I finished the book. It impacted me that much, and that's why it's on the list, even though it probably isn't my best work. Number 8. The Great Gatsby. Why this one? Well, this bit. The story takes place in the summer of 1922, narrated by Nick Carraway, played by Peter Parker. No, not emo Peter Parker. Yeah, that's the best joke I have ever made on this show, and it's why The Great Gatsby is on this list. Also, because Gatsby was the only book out of them that I'd seen the movie adaptation of, and frankly, besides the music, wasn't a bad adaptation. And the original story is amazing. Number 7, the Top 10 Legendaries video. This one should be obvious. I picked it because it was my first, and at the time of this video, only crossover I've done. It was with a member of my own family. Jesse's my cousin, by the way. It came out beautifully, and the title card that was made by my brother was amazing. And I had that planned for months, and I really liked it, and I hope you guys did too. Number 6, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love Hitchhiker's Guide, and besides the god-awful movie, it's never had a low point. And I think this one came out great, despite the fact that I spent the review tied up. And yes, I did steal the idea from Linkara's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1 review. At least I admitted it in the review. Wait a minute, isn't this ripping off Mecha in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1? And it was also the first with a new camera, as I'd used the same one for the past year. Except that it was freezing and eating batteries a lot, so I just needed a new one and started using the current one. Overall, I just really like the episode. Number 5, Death Rat. No one has ever said anything like this, but I have to point it out. Yes, this took place in another universe, but I worked really hard on this one, and I'll be damned if it isn't included on the list. It was one where I had help from Toby Mobius and my brother to make it work. It was a year in the making, and it came out great. Although it was a pain in the ass to film and edit, I love it. Plus, you got to hear my excellent singing voice.
For Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Number 4, Dirk Gently. I have no idea why I like this one, but Dirk Gently is one of the higher ones, just because I love the way I made it. Let me tell the story. When I made this, it was a few days after I'd submitted my videos for consideration by rtgomer.com. Obviously, my videos aren't on their site, but they gave me some tips on improving, and I tested them out here, and that's why I love the video. Plus, the Dirk Gently theme song is awesome. Number 3, Doctor Who and the Cybermen. This one should be obvious. It was my first anniversary review. It showed me how much I've grown since Doctor Who and the Auton Invasion. Just how this video you're watching now shows you how I've improved since the Doctor Who and the Cyberman video. Plus, it had to be a mad scientist with Professor Mike Sano. What's not to like? How come you don't air my show anymore? Because you stopped making it. Oh. Overall, I just really liked the video, and Jamie's face was just nightmare fuel. Don't show it. Number 2, About a Boy. This one is my favorite purely again for one part, the 90s Girl cameo. Why? It was just perfect. I had planned this review and remembered that Gabby ran that blog, and I figured she took pictures for it sometimes. Why not ask her to do a cameo? And it came out great. So thanks again, Gabby. I wanted to thank you in the stinger of that episode, but, you know, storyline stuff. Go check her out at... Number 1. Before Dishonor. This one is by far my favorite episode. Not only because it was my first two-parter, it was also the first book that I literally hated, and not because it was bad. It was stupid, too. Probably the worst book I've ever read. And don't get me wrong, there are worse books, I just haven't reviewed them yet. But the episode also had my first Rags Quit, which I found that according to Internet Reviewer Law 17.5, Section 4, Subsection 6, I wasn't allowed to do. And I get a bit emotional thinking about it because it was probably the worst book that I have ever read in my life. God damn it! Okay. Forget about the book. And that was it. My top 10 personal favorite episodes of the Literary Lair. It might not be Halloween themed, but it was special. Next week we'll return to the Halloween theme for something that might give you goosebumps. It's going to be goosebumps.